Hello, human, and welcome to UFO Stories. I was recently watching an interview on CNN with retired U.S. military veterans where they explained the military side of the story with these recent UFO encounters. And I find their perspective more interesting because it always seems like UFOs are gravitated towards these military installations. And, the military personnel are the ones who get told to keep things hush, and they have to literally sign paperwork saying that they can't tell anybody what they saw. So I feel like they usually know a little bit more than your average human about what's really going on. So the two gentlemen in this video, the first was Chris Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, and he stated that there are regularly, almost daily, breaches to the U.S. airspace by these unidentified flying vehicles. And in most cases, these vehicles are far beyond anything the U.S. is capable of at this point in time. Now, he says this has been going on for years, but the truth is only just recently coming out. And this is mostly due to the fact that the government has finally come out and admitted to these UFOs. So now more and more information is made public and allowed to be spoken about. And he does state that while there is no immediate threat, there is no imminent threat, as most of these encounters, almost all of them in fact, have not been hostile. They've been clearly just observing and in some cases toying with us, but there's been no sense of hostility. But there is still a threat nonetheless, and that is because if one day these vehicles decide to not be so friendly, there's little anything the U.S. government or really any government on Earth can do about it. And he's especially concerned because these interactions are becoming more and more frequent and much more bold in nature. They went from the occasional swing by a military base to full-on swarming warships, swarming missile silos, swarming military bases, and showing up in broad daylight with not a care in the world about being discreet. So it seems that they no longer care about staying hidden, and that is almost more unsettling than the alternative. And the other veteran that was on the show, Sean Cahill, who was a retired Navy Chief Master at Arms, he claimed that the tic-tac-toe UFO that was recently observed off the coast of San Diego in 2004 exceeds our current technology by at least 100 to 1,000 years. So we are so far from being able to even keep up with where aliens are at now, let alone where they will be by the time that we have the technology they have now. I mean, this craft had no visible signs of propulsion. It was moving at hypersonic speeds, and it even beat some of the pilots to their destinations as if it knew exactly where they were going. When he was asked why aliens haven't communicated with humans yet, obviously with all this technology, they've got to have something that they could use to communicate with us and explain their intentions or even form a bond. Why haven't they done it yet? And he brings up an interesting point. He essentially says, if aliens are as smart as we think they are, what could they possibly learn from humanity? We are so far behind where they're at that there's nothing we could contribute to their knowledge. He even compares it to humans at the zoo. You wouldn't strike up a conversation with the panda bear in the exhibit. There's just nothing that panda bear can teach you. And I will disagree with that because there's always something to learn from the other person's perspective. On my time on Earth, I've learned a lot of things by stepping into the human shoes that I probably would have never even thought about if I had just stayed on my home planet or never cared to investigate other species like this. So there's always something to be learned from a different side of the story. So why are aliens becoming so much more bold with their encounters? Honestly, I think both humans and aliens alike are kind of reaching the point where we no longer think there should be this shroud of secrecy. I think most humans are pretty much on board with the fact that aliens do exist. I think most aliens would much rather walk Earth freely without worrying about a holosuit or keeping their ship disguised. And I think both of us could benefit a lot from each other if we simply could cohesively exist. So maybe they're becoming more and more bold with their encounters to ease on into that kind of future where humans and aliens can walk Earth side by side and maybe even share technology with each other and help you humans travel the stars just like we do. I'll leave a link to the story so you can check it out for yourself, human. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.